point is, the end result is the same.
Duty calls.
I have searched the world over for you.
That is so cool.
You guys all just have this really tight bond.
Just call me the computer whisperer. He seemed so nice and normal.
You don't want to come back to my place?
The bleach smell makes me nauseous.
I thought it was going to be a slow night.
It's fucking fantastic.
I love that sound.
Can we go now?
We both had bottle cap dysfunction.
Speak for yourself, bro. Sometimes you just got to do it twice. Welcome to Beer with Buffy. I'm Josh.
I'm Rex.
And today, among highly inappropriate musings, we will be reviewing Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 6, Episode 13, Dead Things.
Yay!
Woo!
No, as I was telling Josh earlier, I was a little bummed because I thought this was a different episode.
Yeah, I don't know why they call this one Dead Things, honestly, just thinking back about the episode.
I mean, it has murder in it.
Oh, okay. All right. Never mind. I got it. We got there.
Yeah.
Good job. Well, yeah, down to business.
Do we want to just go on, or do we want to talk about that there elephant?
Yeah, let's talk about the big pink elephant in the room instead of plodding along like nothing happened.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. So I talked a little bit at the beginning of last episode, but it was after we had recorded it. So obviously we heard about the news about Michelle Trachtenberg right about the same time that everybody else did. It's really fucking sad.
Yeah. Particularly hits me hard considering, like, she's the same age as us.
A year younger.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I turned 41 in, like, a week.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. A week, 7 days.
Wow.
7 days. I turned 41 in 7 days.
No,
so having death of somebody that, like, for fuck's sake, I grew up with this actress.
Yeah.
That fucks with me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of all the actors and actresses from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, she was the last one that I would have expected to hear that news about.
Yeah.
Anytime soon. So it always just breaks it off a little extra hard when it's somebody who's just like, everybody's way too young to die.
Yeah.
Life is too fucking short, but it's extra tragic when they're fucking under 40 years old.
And it sounds like, she was having some medical issues with her liver. Apparently it was liver failure that did it.
Yeah, I heard she'd had a liver transplant within the year.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And,
I mean, it's going to change our podcast and our rewatch of this of this show. There's nothing we can do about that. It's every scene with her in it is going to feel a bit different from here on out.
Yeah.
And I know everyone else feels pretty much the same way.
Particularly when it comes to next season, when we have, the themes that will be revolving around the fact that Dawn struggles with the desire to want to be a Slayer as well, but, feeling inadequate and not being able to help the cause, so to speak, which is a big theme for her character in season 7. So, like, that's an important aspect of the show, and that's going to be a lot harder to go through.
Yeah. But we'll all get through it together. It's still it's a dark day to be a Buffy fan and running a Buffy podcast. But it's also still over 20 years after this show closed. It's still a great time to be a Buffy fan and running a Buffy podcast. There's a community out there.
Honestly, one of the things that makes me the most sad about this is that they're finally going to have a new Buffy show.
Right.
And she's not going to be in it.
Able to be a part of it.
And, like, she's not going to get the joy of being able to relive that character that she loved,
Mm-hmm.
And now we don't know whether or not she was interested in it or not.
Sure.
But it just, it sucks.
Well, regardless of what it means for the future of the canon of Buffy the Vampire Slayer and for the fandom's story needs, I just think it's impressive that so long after the show aired that people still care about her, and I think that's
yeah. And I mean,
that's a great sign to her talent
Yeah.
and her character as a person.
I'd have to agree.
But she did other things that, frankly, I'm not familiar with. I never watched Gossip Girl. I don't recall if I ever watched Harriet the Spy.
I mean, I watched that.
I kind of remember her from Pete and Pete, but
yeah.
not really.
Yeah, I don't really have anything more to say.
Yeah, there's not really much more that we can add. That
It sucks. It sucks, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that can be done about that.
Yeah.
And the name of today's episode is highly unfortunate.
It is. It is. But, well, hey, cheers to Michelle Trachtenberg. A moment of silence. So, down to business. I believe we have Patreons to call out.
Yeah. Our executive doodle-doos are as follows. Angelica Tinkerbell Matheson, Pixie Dark, Elon Bond, Tracy Kidd, finally figured out name change meow, Monica Fonseca Excelentes, Tisuba Spike, Audrey Two French last names, check out my band Cryptids. I think we really should check out their band Cryptids. I hope it's a real band.
Me too.
Allie B, Nathan Lancy, Dulcinea, Rachel Doodoo, Seal Meat Palace. God, that's still funny. Mr. Tabalicious, Sandra Craig, Jay Sommer, Karen Moon, Leroy Jenkins. Which, fun fact, Leroy Jenkins is my spouse's entire play style when it comes to any video game possible.
That's fantastic.
Kelly MC, Jesse Rain, Alex from the Heart, and Carrie Phillips. Thank you so much. Without you, this show literally is not possible.
Yeah, as far as being able to remember which one's which based on their original names, it's like I used to have a million friends on Steam back in my heyday, and everybody changes their name on Steam all the time except for a small percentage of people, and it saddens me because I lost track of so many people that I really enjoyed talking to online and playing games with, and I'll never really know who's who anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, well. You win some, you lose some, I guess.
I mean, as a rule, I generally just don't like playing games with a lot of other people. Like, there's very few people that I'm like, yeah, I want to play a game with you. Let's go play a game.
Zombie Panic Source was a surrogate for a social life for me for a long time. So.
See, and I missed that train. I've never had a online community social life like that.
I think that was a one-time thing for me. I don't know if I could do it again. Because I didn't do it on purpose. It just happened based on my interests at the time and the things that I randomly felt like doing all of a sudden.
Well, on with the show. We have a mom synopsis to do.
Joshua! What are you doing, Joshua? Oh, just being in denial about the reality of my complicated, nuanced nature and trying to frame everything in black and white in such a way that tortures me to my core because clearly I deserve it. And why is that, Joshua? Did you decide that loving something evil must by transitive property make you evil? Or that because you don't love it but you're still using it, that again you are therefore evil, Joshua? Wow. It sounds like you actually have a pretty good handle on what I'm going through. I wasn't expecting that. A mother knows, Joshua. Wait, how much do you know? I know that you deserve it, Joshua. Your right to self-flagellate unforgivingly to the detriment of your own mental health. Oh, okay. Well, that's not supportive at all, actually. Good. We're back on track. I was getting worried. Well, at least you're not an incel, Joshua. Okay, maybe stop trying to be supportive. I'm sorry I said anything. Or a rapist. I told all of my friends at the casino, my son's not a rapist. Wow, we're really on a roll here. Okay. So as long as we're broadcasting suspicious things to the entire internet, here, let me try one. I'm definitely not a murderer or a serial killer. Oh, Joshua. Oh, honey. That makes me think you murdered someone. But I didn't. I've just been watching a lot of Dexter, so I feel like I know a lot about not getting caught. Not enough, apparently. You can't even fool your own mother. Just dump the body in the river and be done with it, Joshua. But I didn't. Oh, fine. Because today on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Buffy's having a hard time. Wait, phrasing. Buffy's coming to a head. Oh, no, maybe not. Buffy's sexcapade with Spike is really eating at her. But she's also enjoying it more than she used to. And she's stuck between a rock and a hard... Stuck between a rug and a hard cock. Damn it! Okay. Okay, no, but really, Buffy just...
Oh, man. I know it can't, but stuck between a rug and a hard cock would be a great episode title.
Okay, no, but really, Buffy just fucking can't today. After a long shift and getting turned down from hanging out with her own kid's sister, Buffy needs booze or whatever the hell they serve at the Bronze. Spike has other plans. Tara and Willow seem to be coming around to being able to be civil again. And the trio have gone full rapey when they use Warren's newest invention, a cerebral dampener, to hypnotize women into being their sex slaves. This plan goes wrong and Warren murders his ex, Katrina. Warren forces Jonathan and Andrew to help him stage an elaborate cover-up that will throw off the Slayer and get rid of the body all at once. But Buffy catches on to their shitty plan, while the trio think they've gotten away with murder. Buffy finally tells someone about her relationship with Spike, and it's Tara. Good choice, I think, actually.
Yeah.
The end.
Ladies, gentlemen, spiny-headed looking creatures. As soon as the sun goes down, as soon as the sun goes down, vampire. Competition is a beautiful thing. Moves here.
Caught between a rug and a hard cock.
Rug and a hard cock. You didn't see that one coming, did you? Giggity!
I didn't.
You thought the mom synopsis was over. You thought we were on to the boring part.
Speaking of being caught in between a rug and a hard cock.
Wow.
We open on Spike's crypt where Buffy is
stuck between a rug and a hard cock. Yeah. I really wasn't sure what your segue was going to be there, and then I remembered that's the first scene. So.
It is.
Woo!
So we open they're naked under rugs, which would be so uncomfortable.
I know.
They're on stone.
And also,
they're laying on stone.
It just seems like it would be gritty and gross from all the floor dirt.
Yeah.
Regardless of the stone, the rug itself.
Spike doesn't vacuum.
Right? Well, they try to tiptoe around that where Buffy's like, oh, you really fixed the place up nice or something. I'm like, okay, good try, assholes. No, I'm not buying it. You're still in a crypt.
Yeah. It's still a crypt. It's still a stone fucking floor. And like, I have yet to see a vacuum around that place.
I know, right? It's like, okay, they like it rough and dirty. That's fine. Don't try and make us think that it's clean.
Right. But yeah, the episode basically opens up with Buffy mentioning how they didn't make it to the bed again.
Lucky bed.
Yeah. After they're talking about fixing the place up, like Spike mentions eating a decorator once. And that's why he's able to decorate.
Yeah, it must have.
And they actually have like a pleasant conversation.
Yeah, for a minute, they start to have a cute little pillow talk conversation about room decoration and about how Buffy's New Kids on the Block posters are dating her. Oh, honey, you're like 50 now. How's that make you feel? But then Spike goes and ruins it by wallowing in the novelty and pointing out that they're having a conversation and making Buffy all self-conscious. Like, fucking live in the moment,
right?
Spike.
Like, dude, the conversation would have probably continued if you just shut the fuck up about it.
It could have continued being pleasant if you didn't have to be such a little such a girl about it. He's being such a god and not
in a sexist way.
In a completely progressive way.
Childish way.
Right.
He's being childish about it.
If I were a worm, would you still love me? That kind of fucking annoying conversation that nobody can really get behind.
And he asks her if she even likes him, and her answer is fairly honest, and she says sometimes. Sometimes she likes him. And like that's true to character, I think.
Right.
There's sometimes when he's actually quite pleasant to be around.
Yeah.
Not 50-50.
Certainly not. No, it's really more of a 80-20 kind of situation. But man, when he's on point, he's on point.
Yes.
Which is happening more and more recently.
But this whole episode, he is super fucking toxic. And he is super taking advantage of her.
I don't know about the whole episode. It's okay. It's 95.5 in this episode.
Okay, yeah. He is doing a lot of emotional manipulation of somebody who is feeling very fucking vulnerable.
Yeah.
Like a lot.
He's evil. What's her excuse?
I mean, yeah, but still just.
Yeah, no, that's their MO. That's his MO. That's what they do. So, it makes for good entertainment. It's fun, right?
But the scene closes out with somehow they get back to talking about sex, and Spike pulls out handcuffs, asking Buffy if she trusts him, and she responds with never.
That's a version of Aladdin I want to see. Do you trust me?
No. I just met you.
I'm not.
I don't want to go on your ludicrous magic carpet. It's a fucking carpet. Carpets can't fly.
Yeah, she does not trust him, but she is subtly giddy about how much she does not trust him.
Yeah,
in this moment. It's like, yes, I know that you can hurt me now, and I'm going to let you bondage me while you do.
I mean, to be fair, I don't
things.
think handcuffs could hold her. I really don't think they could.
Well, it's the idea that counts.
I know we've talked a little bit about it before, but I really wish
and she probably could.
I could work out just how fucking strong she is.
You've definitely brought that up several times.
Because, I know she's not Spider-Man strong, but for fuck's sake, who is? Spider-Man's like one of the strongest characters in the Marvel fucking comics.
No, if she can break the handle off of one of those school doors, she can break a pair of handcuffs. You're probably right. Because whatever the mechanism in there that's only a one-way clicky thing,
right?
I'm sure she could just pull that backwards and bend the fuck out of it and get out of those things.
Well, and there's a way. It's not easy, but there is a method that you can in a certain way bind the chain to handcuffs and use the binding of the chain because it's a certain way that you twist it. That you can use that as to get some leverage to bend one of the chain links. It still requires a fuck ton of strength.
Okay.
And most people aren't going to be able to do that, but there is technically a way that a normal person can break out of handcuffs that way.
Maybe, hear me out. Again, this is very progressive and not sexist at all, I promise you. Maybe she's just got Slayer dexterity in her tongue and she could make a key out of her tongue and just pick the lock.
I don't think so, Josh.
From giving so many blowies.
I get where you're going with.
You get it?
I get it.
Okay. Jeez.
Honestly, I would stand on the argument that of the two of these, the one who ends up in handcuffs is not
she's got bruises on her wrists later, and she covers them up ashamedly, talking to Tara.
I missed that completely.
Yeah, it's like the very next scene at the restaurant.
Damn.
At Double Meat Palace.
I completely missed that.
So she definitely got cuffed.
Damn it, Buffy. Anyway, opening credits.
No, first we go to the trio's new hideout, where Jonathan and Andrew bicker and wrestle over some stupid shit. Warren calls them over for something about a cerebral dampener that's already... It's ready now. It's already ready or some shit. Jonathan does some hooju woo-woo on the steel ball-looking thing. It's literally just like a big ball bearing.
Yeah. It looks like a silver egg.
And then he takes out what looks to me like a walnut and some turmeric, sprinkles the turmeric over the walnut, says some stupid shit, and it goes poof, and supposedly it has gone into the ball bearing now, and
like magically charges it.
Yeah. Oh, the walnut was supposed to be the musk gland of a Hamja Maliv demon or something.
Yes.
Supposedly it affects the contraption because Warren's all horny about it being the key to them being able to make any woman their willing sex slave, and he knows just where to start because they're incels.
Yeah.
Just why doesn't he just make fucking sex robots for all of them?
Right.
They're super realistic.
And he's done it twice.
Yeah, obviously he lost his girlfriend over it.
Yeah.
Why not just have a sex robot now?
Also, it's because obviously that sort of thing is not about sex.
What, the robots or this?
No, rape. Rape's not about sex, it's about power.
Power, yeah. I was going to say control, but power. Yeah, that's the one.
It's about power.
Okay, so here's where we get the opening sequence. Cut to Double Meat Palace,
where Buffy is at work. Tara arrives visiting her. Buffy goes on a break. They go in back. You get a nice little glimpse of Tara responding to just the
awfulness.
Yeah, I don't know what to call it.
The soul deadening.
Yeah, the deadening
nonsense
void.
There it is.
But quote of the day here is Buffy's response to it is, if you close your eyes and smash yourself in the head with the frozen meat, it gets better. I hope.
Yeah. But yeah, so Buffy's in the break room with Tara, where Tara is surprised that Buffy does not want to talk about Willow, but rather she brings her in on the fact that Spike can hurt her now, and she thinks that perhaps she came back wrong, and that's because the chip is still working on people.
Yep.
But not her. And so Buffy begs her to look into the spell that brought her back.
Yeah, because she can't ask Willow, obviously.
Right. Because she's got to be a good doobie and stop having anything to do with magic, at least for a while.
Exactly.
Until she goes on a rampage through the... Never mind. So we cut to a bar and a spy van.
Yes, a bar and a spy van. Jonathan and Andrew are in the van. They're being fucking obnoxious.
Again.
At least one of them is not being obnoxious. Like, I fucking hate Warren, but at least he's not being obnoxious.
Right. And, I want to give more credit to Jonathan, but he definitely is just as much of an instigator about this bullshit with Andrew. Like, they're just constantly at each other's throats unnecessarily. Jonathan, obviously, morally is the best of the three of them, which I think is one of the defining things about this episode. But anyway, they're watching on screen as Warren cruises for chicks in a bar. He's got a camera on his tie.
Yep.
They're falling over themselves, yammering about redheads, leather skirts, and bazungas. Real mature. Warren spots someone and then drops his earpiece in a drink because he's sick of hearing them bicker on the other end of it. I don't even understand why they did it this way. Why couldn't they all just go in together? But I also thought that they were going to be able to hypnotize more than one person at a time.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Warren knew that it would only work once. I think maybe he was surprised that it didn't work as long as he had wanted it to, but I think he knew that...
That tracks, that he misled them to think that it could hypnotize more than one person at a time, but he knew damn well that they were only getting one girl.
Yeah.
So, it fizzles out and screeches in Jonathan and Andrew's ears. Warren approaches the girl, and it turns out we've met her before. It's Katrina, his ex, whom we first met in I Was Made to Love You, which was the original Buffy Bot episode.
Yep.
And I don't remember how it played out exactly, but clearly they broke up, and it was something to do with the Buffy bot.
No. It wasn't the Buffy bot. He made a Katrina bot first.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And it was the Katrina bot that she found out about.
Okay.
And, that's fucking creepy.
Yeah, that is creepy. That's so he just needed to bring it full circle on creepiness.
Yes.
So he's back, and he's hitting on her at a bar. Yeah, she tells Warren in no uncertain terms that she is disgusted by him and there's nothing to work out. And he's like, oh yeah, and pulls out the cerebral dampener, puts glasses on, not necessarily in that order, lets it flash real quick, takes the glasses off, and she immediately is like, I love you, master.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fun. All right.
Well, if this guy wants to fight with weapons, I've got it covered from A to Z. From axe to the other axe.
I'm fairly certain I said no interruptions.
Buffy's house.
Where Buffy gets home from work, Xander and Dawn are dancing.
I had a quote of the day.
Okay.
When Buffy walks in, she says, I'm home. Who wants to help scrape the grease off my... But gets interrupted.
I want to know what she was talking about.
I wanted to know what she was going to say. Scrape the grease off of my eyebrows? The nape of my neck? My lower back?
And she doesn't look greasy, though.
No.
At least.
She looks perfectly clean.
She comes in to find Xander and Dawn dancing. They're practicing for the wedding. Anya and Willow are sitting, hanging out on the couch. I love that this starts pretty much the entire episode. Everyone just essentially making unknown sexual euphemisms about her fucking Spike. It's just throughout the whole episode. Like,
wow, how did I miss that?
You even made some euphemisms about that in your fucking mom synopsis.
Yeah, that's because I'm 12 years old, Rex.
But, like, they even... Xander even talks about her going out and pounding evil.
Wow. Oh, man, I am off my game.
Apparently.
Son of a bitch. Okay. Yeah, so...
there's at least 3 of them in this scene.
Point them out for me. That sounds great.
All I wrote down was the pounding evil one.
Okay.
I figured...
Well, that's funny.
I figured you'd pound... I figured you'd point
I'd
them
pound
out.
evil all the time, Rex. It's called masturbation, okay? It's very healthy. There's nothing to be ashamed of about it, and I'd prefer that you stopped looking down on me about it. Why can't you just admit that you also... All right, we're moving on.
Yes.
So Anya and Willow are also there. Buffy doesn't want to dance because she's tired. They lament not seeing her much anymore because she's always working or slaying. And they invite her out to the bronze. And Xander even offers drinks on him. It is something about the nectar of the working man.
Yeah. Nectar of the gods. Beer!
Yes.
It's foamy.
That we all can agree upon. Beer. Because we had our own musical episode, if you recall. Buffy tries to poop on the party and stay home with Dawn, but then a car honks outside and Dawn grabs her shit and explains that she's staying the night with her friend Janice.
Yes.
And it's okay because Willow vetted the situation, and it's definitely legit because her mother's picking her up.
Yeah. And I do want to say that, like, Dawn points out, I didn't mention this to you, Buffy, because...
You weren't here.
You weren't here.
And
I
you
didn't
haven't
expect
been
you
here.
to be here.
You're working your life away for a goddamned fast food restaurant.
Yeah.
When you should be extorting the fucking Watchers Council.
Or
For
the fast
money-
food restaurant.
For money that... especially the fast food restaurant.
Yes.
That doesn't even have meat in their burgers.
Yeah, you know, in the previous scene, when she said the line about beating yourself upside the head with frozen meat, I'm like, where are you going to get frozen meat in that place, Buffy? They don't have meat.
You might be able to get a frozen block of beef fat.
Yeah.
It's meat adjacent. She'll just have to freeze Spike's... Okay, moving on.
Yes.
Dawn's very apologetic because she didn't know Buffy would be home. She leaves anyway, though, because she's very excited about learning how to make grilled tortillas or something. She leaves. Buffy's upset now, and she needs booze because that's how we cope, everyone.
Mind you, it's homemade tortillas.
Mm-hmm.
As in tortillas from scratch.
Oh.
And let me tell you, there are very few things in this world that are as amazing as homemade from scratch tortillas.
Tortualas. I'm sure it's very culturally insensitive that I enjoy pronouncing it like that, but
yeah,
here we are.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the end, though, you are still white.
Okay, I get it. I'm white. So, yeah. Buffy needs booze or whatever the fuck they drink at the Bronze. Frosty nectar in this case. Could be booze, could be mocktails, I don't know.
Then we cut to the trio's new basement. I like that, by the way, it looks like the same fucking basement set.
They just moved some shit around.
Yeah.
Yeah, it probably is.
They've dressed Katrina up as a maid. There's this kind of odd moment where Jonathan calls her cute, and Warren goes on about how perfect and beautiful she is.
Yeah. It would be romantic if it weren't so creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Considering the circumstances. It's like, okay, so he's clearly super into her physically, but there's not an iota of evidence that he respects her as a human being. Case in point.
Yeah.
Where she is and why right now. Need I go on? No. So, yeah, I'm surprised they're even still messing around with any kind of formality, and they haven't all just descended immediately into a gangbang. Like, so they're nerdy, but they're so nerdy, they can't even figure out how to hook up with a hypnotized sex slave.
Right.
That's how stupid these guys are.
Granted, that's how stupid Jonathan and Andrew are.
Yeah.
Warren knows what he's doing, and he calls dibs, essentially.
Right. Well, they need permission from their master and leader, Warren. Warren wants his turn first, and then he says that Jonathan and Andrew can have their way with her. And even if she wasn't his ex, that's still fucking disgusting.
Well, yeah, it has nothing to do with who she is. Just that, like, she's a fucking person.
Yeah.
And this is the most heinous of things that you can fucking do to a person.
It's a whole new level of fucked up even for these guys. And it's a level of fucked up that I don't think this show has ever...
No, this is definitely...
This is off the wall.
Like, they use the word rape.
Yeah. If they didn't, I'd be upset.
Yes.
Because that's really the only thing that makes this in any way seem like, oh, they know that this is bad. It's not supposed to just be whimsical.
Right.
Thank fuck.
Yeah.
All right. So
well, I think one thing I'll definitely give this episode credit for is this episode is the episode that pulls the mask off these fuckers.
Once and for all.
Yes.
Yeah. We were pretty much already there, but
right.
This takes the cake.
The writing of the story is now where we have been. That no, what they're doing is really fucked up.
Yeah. They're past the point of no return.
Yeah. So in the other room, Warren takes Katrina in the other room. They start making out. He starts having her tell him that she loves him. And through this bit, it wears off the mind control.
Just before anything comes out of Warren's pants.
Yeah.
Luckily.
Like, he has her get down on her knees. And as she's getting down on the floor, she calls him Warren. And that makes him realize that something's up.
Mm-hmm.
And so the spell wears off. She obviously freaks the fuck out and starts kicking his ass like she should.
Mm-hmm.
And he starts yelling for Jonathan and Andrew to get the dampener. Apparently they've fucking lost it now. They had it in their hand and one of them put it in their pocket, but now they're looking all over the fucking room trying to find it.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate that we don't really need to do all that much bitching about how fucked up this is because Katrina does it for us.
Yes.
She's like, guys, this is rape.
Yeah.
So in no uncertain terms.
It's not a fantasy, not a game. It's rape. And the part about it that kind of bothers me, but it also, I think, is a character thing, is the physical response that Jonathan and Andrew have when she calls it rape, they're just in shock. Like, they did not think for a second that that's what they were doing.
Didn't occur to them.
They even start to be like, no, it's not like that. But it's like, no.
Except for the part
it's exactly like that,
where,
you fuckers.
Yeah. I mean, these guys didn't even seem to see anything wrong with the situation until they realized that Katrina is Warren's ex. And now suddenly it's weird to them.
Right. Yeah, like, it's not more or less fucked up because it's his ex.
No.
It's just fucked up because you don't fucking do this to a person.
Yeah, in reality. But these two didn't seem to think anything was wrong until they realized it was his ex. Which is, like, how fucking lost are these guys? I thought Jonathan at least would know better. Right. Like, come the fuck on, man. But she makes a run for it, saying they're going to get locked up for this. Jonathan and Andrew try to stop her, and she fucks them both up really quickly and easily. Yes. She kicks one of them in the shin. I don't know what else she did, but Warren goes after her. He's like, I have to do everything myself, and he fights her on the steps where she scratches the shit out of his face, and then he bludgeons her with the champagne bottle. Yep. And
slams her onto the stairs and bludgeons her.
Yeah. He tells Jonathan and Andrew to recharge the dampener and rehypnotize her. Everything's fine. Everything's going to be just fine.
But no, it's not fine because she's dead.
Yeah. Andrew touches her head, and there's a little way too much blood on his hand. And he's like, it's not fine. She's fucking dead. I mean, just it's stepping outside of the scene for a moment. From a realism standpoint, it didn't seem like a hard enough blow for her to be dead. Brain damage, sure.
To be fair, it doesn't take much to give someone major brain damage.
Yeah, it's better than pretending that you can just knock someone out casually and they'll wake up later with a slight headache.
Exactly.
So it's more towards realism than that, anyway.
But yeah, they're starting to kind of freak out. They don't know what to do, how the fuck they're going to get rid of the body. But then Jonathan points out that this is a big problem because Katrina is Warren's ex. Therefore, that is a link between her as a victim and them as the villains.
Especially considering the last place she was seen was at a bar with him.
Yeah. But, like, she's not just some random person, so she can be linked to them, which is a big problem. And then Warren apparently gets the idea that how about we solve one problem with another problem? And they hatch the plan of blaming Buffy for the murder.
Yeah,
they don't really
framing her.
Yeah,
essentially.
they don't go into the details or anything, but obviously this is when the plan comes
about. Because Jonathan can't teleport it, quote unquote, the body.
Yeah,
they refer to her body the rest of this scene as it, and there's even one brief call out where Andrew calls her she and then switches back to it.
And this, I think, is where the title of the episode, Dead Things, comes from.
Yeah. Because they can't deal with the reality of the situation and they can't humanize her. Otherwise, they'll lose their shit.
Exactly.
Fucking dickheads. Anyway.
I'm not in your room. I'm in the hallway. The hallway doesn't belong to you. Mom, I can stand in the hallway, right? My friend Sharon's older brother knows a girl who died because she choked on her boyfriend's tongue.
You know, fun fact. There's a book series by Dan Wells. It's 6 books total, but the first book is called I'm Not a Serial Killer, and it's about a kid who is. It's basically kind of a Dexter situation where he's obviously a psychopath, but he's trying to not be.
Okay.
He doesn't want to be a serial killer, so he puts all these rules in place.
Sure.
But one of the problems that he has, his mom runs a mortuary, and one of the problems he has and struggles with throughout the entire fucking series is he's constantly calling dead people it. The body it, not her, not him. And that is, it's kind of a signifier of the dehumanization of murder.
Yeah.
And that I liked that little nod with how they refer to the body they stop calling the body her.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's trying to get Jonathan or Andrew to come up with a solution. Jonathan can't teleport it. Andrew, he could summon something to eat her, but it would also try to eat them. So, no. Round about this time, I started thinking to myself, if you think of the trio as a public service announcement for how not to behave as a male of the species, one could argue that maybe the trio is actually a good villain. But that doesn't really account for how unentertaining they are and just gross that they are.
And honestly, particularly with this episode, obviously Warren is an evil fuck.
Yeah.
And he's the worst of the bunch.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the time when they become villains, like actual villains, not fucking cartoonish caricatures.
Mm-hmm.
It's disturbing how they fucking go about this episode, but it's still not really that interesting.
Right. Yeah, it's progressive in the sense that it's demonstrating that it's good that people are having an ick response to this.
Yes.
But does that necessarily did we need a public service announcement like that? The show's we're trying to be feminist and progressive.
Right.
Did this hit the mark? Can we argue that it didn't hit the mark just because it's not actually interesting or entertaining?
I don't know. I have a lot of mixed feelings about this entire season along these lines.
Mm-hmm.
The way that they have these three characters and the arc that they're giving them, plus the story arc that they're doing with Buffy and Spike. Of all the fucking seasons of Buffy, this one is the one that makes me feel like the show is a lot less feminist. This is the season that I think the truth of Joss Whedon was bleeding through a lot more.
See, yeah, I wish... Yeah, I feel like this is some sort of answer to, here, look how feminist I am. I'm going to show you how gross these dudes are and how uncool that is. But he also made them look like the stupidest nerds on the planet also, instead of normal dudes.
Right.
And normal dudes are the problem.
Yeah.
Normal
he
dudes...
made them caricatures, and that kind of fucks the point up.
Right.
The point's moot because they're not people.
Yeah. They're practically cartoon characters.
Yeah, exactly. And so I don't know.
So
the season's just not sitting well with me, man.
Right. Yeah. Well, all right, moving on. So they freak out now. They're worried the Slayer's going to catch wind of this and fuck them up, and they should be scared because they're probably right. That's exactly what would happen. But Warren has a plan to take care of the body and the Slayer all at once. And cut to the bronze. Xander and Anya are swing dancing on the dance floor, and fairly well.
Well, they had a whole number.
Yeah, right. They had a whole episode to practice this.
I could totally see it being it is canon in my head that after that sequence, because they're doing swing dance, but they're not doing it as well as they did during that number.
But they learned how to swing dance from Sweet, essentially.
Well, and I think maybe they not so much that they learned how to do it from that incident, but that incident drove them to take fucking swing classes together.
Oh, that's kind of cute.
Yeah,
that's fun. Okay, I was thinking it was they had it imbued into their head, they downloaded
how
dancing program in the Matrix,
how Xander had all that fucking military knowledge.
That's the next point I was going to make. Yeah,
which is also a cool way to think about it as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I just really like that they kind of gave that nod.
Yeah, so that was fun. Buffy and Willow are chatting about how they're doing. Buffy apologizes for not being around much. Notably, Willow says, "No, it's okay. We know you've been all tied up." And Buffy looks shocked and guilty until Willow clarifies she means her job and slaying. Oh, okay.
See what I mean?
I did catch one of them, at least. So, yeah.
Because there's more. Because there's lines in the previous scene, there's this scene, then when they have interactions with Tara, there's kind of hints to that, and the conversation later on before Buffy explains what's happening with Spike, like there's a little bit of that too. It's through the whole episode, man.
Okay. I believe you. I never didn't believe you. So Xander invites them onto the dance floor. Willow accepts, but Buffy says she needs more booze.
Quote of the day here. They come up to the table. Anya says, "Come, share in the joy of our groove thing." Willow's response is, "And despite that, I succumb to the beat." And I appreciate that.
Okay, yeah, I didn't really parse that one until just now. Okay, I just kind of moved on.
But Buffy bows out from dancing, saying that she needs to refill her drink.
Xander says, "Shimmy on out when you're done lubricating," which sounds dirtier than it needs to.
Yeah, but I think that's also the point of that one.
That's kind of the point in retrospect. I think it's because they did all of these subtle innuendos on purpose, because it's from Buffy's point of view. She feels guilty.
And I think Xander's line is just a nod towards the idea that booze is social lubrication.
Right, exactly. That's all he meant by it.
Right.
But it still sounds kind of dirty because they're trying to make everything sound dirty because Buffy feels dirty. It's the theme of the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking under a rug is dirty.
I think they should have just called this Dirty Things.
Yes. So Buffy goes up to the catwalk after getting a drink or something. We see her at the bar briefly, and then
Excuse me, but that is called the mezzanine.
Oh, excuse me. I'm pretty sure I've heard it called the catwalk as well.
A catwalk is part of the mezzanine. The mezzanine is the whole space above, made up of catwalks.
Okay. So I wasn't wrong.
You're not wrong, but you're also not right.
I think I am, though.
No, you're not.
I think you're just being pedantic.
So?
Glad we agree on something. So Spike slithers up behind her and gets all dark and broody, just the way she likes it. He's feeling her up and whispering in her ear how she belongs in the dark with him, and what would they think if they knew all the skeezy shit they'd done together. And I'm pretty sure he just goes whole hog right up into the hoo-ha from behind.
Oh, yeah, they fuck.
Because that's just what they do, it seems like.
Yeah, they engage in some classic exhibitionist
Indeed.
behavior.
He's all try to tell me you don't love getting away with it right under their noses. And
I mean, over their noses at this point.
Over,
Spike,
yeah,
come on. You're over their heads.
It's a colloquialism, Rex.
I know.
Good God.
I think it would have been funnier if his line was over their heads.
Pedantic. So it would have been maybe, I don't know. Anyway, it's kind of hot.
And I'm sure maybe at some point I would have maybe agreed with that, but I married a therapist, man. I can't look at the world that way anymore.
Okay. It's hot in the sense that 50 Shades of Grey is hot.
Yeah.
Some people are into it, but they shouldn't be.
Yeah,
I'm judging all of you.
It's fucked up. This is deep emotional fucking manipulation.
Yeah, well, because it starts with him feeling her up, and she says stop, and he says make me, or something like that.
But also, I think it's just profoundly fucked up to be like, hey, you're gonna look at your friends while I fuck you from above.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? One way or another, this is a hell of a lot cooler than what the trio is doing.
I mean, yeah. Because, I'm disappointed that she's not just throwing his ass off the fucking mezzanine.
Right. We're still in the red.
Yes, we're still in the red.
It's like vaping instead of smoking.
He deserves to be chucked onto the dance floor from above.
It wouldn't even faze him.
Hopefully, not hitting any people. But
and hopefully he gets his dick back in his pants first.
Yeah. Hopefully.
That'd be. So moving on.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, there was a kitty. She was very little, and she was all alone, and nobody wanted her.
Did the kitty get chosen by some nice people?
Well, now you ruined the ending.
So we're outside the magic box.
The magic box.
We already did the bronze.
I know,
this
but I
episode. We
can't-
can't do both in the same episode.
Why not?
Because I said so. It's the rules, man.
Those rules are stupid, and you're stupid.
Thanks. So I deserve that because I'm a bad person. Finally.
And you should feel bad.
This is me feeling my feelings.
Good. Show off.
I don't know if I'm laughing or crying anymore. So Xander's walking up to the magic box with
Xander and Willow.
With Willow, and he's pulled a jive muscle. And you know what? He fucking deserves it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why offhand, but I'm sure he did something to deserve it recently.
I'm sure he did.
Definitely. But for a change of pace, he's not really a problem in this episode.
He doesn't get a break just because he's not really been on camera much.
I guess. He's better than the trio and Spike this episode.
Yes.
But, that doesn't necessarily put him back in the black either.
No. The bar is under the ground.
Well under. So Tara comes out. I mean, okay, fine. She came out a long time ago.
Yes.
But this time out of the magic box.
Yes.
And her and Willow immediately get super awkward. Xander splits because he at least has some sense about him. Willow spots the book Tara's holding, which she kind of tries to hide from Willow, but Willow assumes that she thinks it's only for Willow's sake because she's off the magic, not because she's researching the spell that brought Buffy back that Willow had cast.
Well, and, Tara asks about how Willow is doing. Willow explains that she's been off the magic for 30-some days now.
32 days, no magic.
A whole fucking month.
Good job.
Cheers to that, Willow.
Mm-hmm. Tara says she was just looking for Buffy. Willow hasn't seen her since last night. Tara assures her that Buffy misses them too. Because, Willow's like, we really miss her. I'm sure that she feels the same way. Anyway, she's glad that Willow's doing better. She leaves Willow standing there looking so lost and helpless without her.
All things considered, it's a good conversation.
Yeah.
It's a pleasant conversation that leaves on a good note.
Yeah.
And
it's the nicest conversation they've had since 2 episodes before they broke up.
More importantly, it's the kind of conversation that makes you hope a little bit.
Yeah.
And I know it's not going to happen, but I hope.
Speaking of emotional manipulation, the writers are emotionally manipulating us so that they can fucking thrash us to death.
Yes.
When, spoiler alert, Tara dies quickly and violently.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway, breaking my fucking heart here, kids. So, cut to the cemetery.
Where Buffy is on patrol.
We got a very nice, super broody musical interlude here.
Yeah.
I meant to look up what song this is or check if it's an original.
It's by the band Bush, I know that much. I can't remember the name of the song. Yeah, I recognize the singer.
Well, I really liked the vibe that it gave the scene.
But no, it's a good song. I wish I could remember the fucking name of the song. But I know I used to listen to a lot of Bush.
Huh.
Yeah, so she's on patrol. Of course, her patrol ends up at Spike's crypt.
Mm-hmm.
And they have that kind of movie lovers moment where they're both on opposite sides of the door.
Yeah. Is that big of a trope?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, of course it is. Yeah, Spike's inside. He can sense her on the other side. And he swings the door open triumphantly, thinking that she'll be there, but she's already gone.
Nope.
And I just want to say Spike's shirt is fucking fabulous, and I want one.
I didn't even see it.
It was kind of like paisley, but not.
Oh.
But also, it's goth paisley.
I mean, it's Spike, so obviously it's going to be some level of goth.
Oh, it was a good shirt. I want one. So she's walking away, telling herself to focus on anything but the evil blood-sucking fiend. And then she hears a scream and mouths to the sky, "Thank you," and runs towards the noise and tackles a cloaked figure chasing a woman.
Cut to basically a confusing sequence where things are flashing in and out of existence. Things are confusing. You don't know if Spike is actually there or not. There's wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff happening.
Fuckery.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with fuckery. Yeah. She takes a little break from linear time, if you will. So just imagine.
God, that sounds lovely, actually.
I know, right? Just imagine, if you will, that Spike finds her. They're attacked by demons. She hits Spike accidentally. Who knows? And in the hubbub and confusion of fighting and time fuckery, she also accidentally hits the woman that was being chased and knocks her down a hill.
Yes.
She chases after her and finds her dead at the bottom of the hill. Guess what? It's Katrina. We see a living version of Katrina watching Buffy from behind a tree over yonder. Buffy freaks out, thinking that she's killed this poor woman.
Yes.
Spike follows her down there and urges her to get the fuck out of there before anyone sees her, because there's nothing she can do now. And he tells her to go home, go to bed. They'll sort it all out over a cup of tea and crumpets or whatever. He doesn't actually say that. That's my
interpretation.
Yes, it's my dramatic interpretation of what Spike said. So cut to a van down by the river, or just a van.
Yeah, it might be by a river.
They're probably eating government cheese.
I'm sure. Jonathan enters the van. He was the one who was disguised as Katrina, the live Katrina.
Yeah, via a spell.
Yeah,
he wasn't just dressed in drag.
Right. But they talk about, like, well, the night's still young. What else are we going to do? And Jonathan makes a joke about, well, there's still plenty of time to kill more women.
Yeah, well, the night's young. Got to be some more girls we could kill. That was one of my quotes of the day. Not because it was funny, but because it's really the first moment in this episode where we see that Jonathan's really getting sick of this shit.
Yeah.
And we kind of felt that last episode too, but now he's really starting to get close to putting his foot down. He's getting more vocal about his displeasure with the goings-on of the group. He's still not doing nearly enough because he just helped Warren cover up a murder. It's like, you are definitely culpable now.
It's like, for fuck's sake, if you're not combating the problem, you're part of the problem.
Part of the problem. And, I want to say that they could have just gone and turned Warren in right after he murdered her, but then they're still culpable for kidnapping.
Yes.
So maybe it shouldn't have been a party to kidnapping either.
I mean, that's when you fucking cut a deal to testify and get a reduced sentence.
Yeah, because nothing wrong with that. Because the law is...
Hey, at least Warren would go to jail.
That's true. Yeah. So Warren considers the plan accomplished. The body is now Buffy's problem.
Yep.
Cut to Buffy's bedroom. We get a pretty fucked up dream sequence here that starts with her boinking Spike, and it turns into her handcuffing and boinking Katrina's dead body.
Yeah.
Kind of, sort of, while she stabs her in the chest with a stake, and then it turns into Spike being stabbed with a stake, like dreams do. All the while hearing creepy whispers of, "What did you do, Buffy?" all around her.
Right.
And she wakes up in a cold sweat, because I would.
Right?
Damn, that was a dream.
I don't have dreams like that.
I've never had a dream just like that.
Well, yeah.
But I've had some fucked up dreams in my day. Probably on par with that fucked up.
I don't have narrative dreams very often.
Oh.
So,
I wouldn't even call this narrative. It's a dream. Sure, there's themes to it.
Yeah.
I definitely do have narrative dreams, though. I've actually, it hasn't happened to me in a long time, but when I was younger, I could be having a dream and be, super enjoying it, and I'm not even being dirty, not even being gross. I'm on some weird, stupid adventure, whatever, and then I wake up and I have to pee, and then I go back to bed, and the dream picks up right where it left off.
Yeah, I've never done that.
It's happened to me a handful of times, and it's really fucking cool when it does.
I've never done it.
Couldn't tell you what was going on in those dreams.
Well,
I just remember that happened. It was really cool.
Anyway, Buffy, waking up from the dream, gets up, goes to Dawn's room and wakes her up, explains to her what happened, and then she decides that she has to go to the police about it. Dawn, of course, is very upset, doesn't want her to go to the police. She'll go to jail. But Buffy, of course, explains that it is the right thing to do.
Is it, Buffy? Is it? They're gonna put her in jail forever over an accident because prisons are for profit and they perpetuate the poverty cycle of the inmates and their families while also providing literal slave labor to the state.
Yes. But in Buffy's world, she's a high moral character.
Yeah.
So she sees that the right thing to do is she's responsible, therefore she should be held responsible.
Sure, I get that. She sees morality as very black and white. It's kind of the exact same debate that we were having, that she was having with Faith.
Exactly.
Over killing the deputy mayor.
Well, not even that, just the person that Faith killed on accident.
Yeah.
Staked a human.
The deputy mayor.
No. When was it the deputy mayor?
Yeah. Yeah, it was the...
Oh, okay, yeah.
It was
You're
Harry
right.
Groner's assistant.
You're right. Even then, Buffy stood on the same ground that she's holding herself to. If she were to do anything but what she does here, it would be against her character.
So yeah, in a nutshell, it is consistent with her character, but her logical flaw here is equating the law with morality.
Well, yeah, but...
And that's what bothers me.
We're also talking about, the world of TV where, the law is actually moral.
So we're watching propaganda is what you're saying.
I mean, that's most TV.
Okay.
If you have TV that involves a cop and the story isn't about cop corruption, then it's probably some level of, fantasy.
Yeah. Like Dexter.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Way too many good cops in that show.
Exactly.
Even the bad ones are still pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting in this scene that when Buffy wakes up Dawn, first thing she says is, "I love you." And Dawn has exactly the correct response. What's wrong?
Right.
You're here and you're being verbally affectionate. How fucked are we?
Yeah.
But
is the world ending? For fuck's sake. Is it Thursday?
But this really struck a chord with me. Not to go too deep into my personal issues here, but that was something that happened with my mom a lot. It is one of the first signs of a real traumatic emotional breakdown when she starts saying, "I love you" a lot. Yeah. So it was like, as soon as she sat up straight and was like, "What's wrong?"
You're like, that's the correct response.
Exactly the correct response. Like, I'm not alone. So one of the writers has had a similar experience.
See, if my spouse woke me up that way with "I love you," my very first thought would be, what do I have to clean up?
Right?
Do I have to go get you water?
That sounds vaguely functional.
It is.
That sounds
quite
lovely.
functional.
God damn it.
Frankly, it's ludicrous to have these interlocking bodies and not interlock. Putrefying diseases. It'll make you blind and insane, but it won't kill you. Light a bunch of candles and have sex near them. So far, I like it. Please remove your clothing now.
So cut to a police station.
Yeah,
Or
or
the
just
alleyway-
outside of the police station.
The alleyway next to the police station.
Where Buffy is about to walk into said police station, and Spike decides, no, fuck you, you're not going to do that. I'm not going to let you turn yourself in.
Yeah, despite her kid sister begging her not to leave her forever.
Again.
By turning herself over to the authorities over an accident, she does it anyway. So, yeah.
I think her action here is fueled by two things. One, her history with Faith and being on the other side of this. But two, she feels immoral right now.
Because of Spike.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, granted, her entire mindset and what she's having Tara look into is she feels that she has come back broken and wrong, and she is trying to oversteer to make up for that feeling.
Yep.
So that's what I think her entire motivation here is. She feels broken and wrong, and she feels like she's been doing wrong, and then she has to hold herself accountable to her own morals on top of that. Yep.
And as she says, is she thinks she's doing the right thing for once. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, because you've only done the
once.
right, because you've never done the right thing, Buffy. Whatever. Bullshit. And Spike, once again, is the voice of reason, even though she paints him as this black and white,
right?
You're a demon, hands down, can't think of you any other way because that's unforgivable. Nevertheless, he is here proving that he is a shade of gray, that there is some good in Spike. Even though it doesn't make any sense canonically that a demon could have any good in them.
Well, I'm of the firm belief that the entire reason that he is doing what he's doing to help Buffy and so that she does not go to jail is so that he can keep banging. It's purely selfishly motivated.
Nevertheless, it's still the voice. It's still the best thing for her, regardless of his motivation for it.
I did have,
and I think he knows that on some level.
I did have kind of a quote of the day here. When he first shows up, he looks at her and says, like, I took care of it. No one will ever find her. And then police come running out of the police station. Oh, we found a body down by the river. And he's just like, God damn it.
Son of a bitch. That was a great Buffyverse flip.
Yeah.
Good subversion. Yeah, Buffy freaks out. What did you do?
I threw her in the river.
So Spike says there's even though they found the body, there's no evidence to link it to you, to link her body to you, Buffy. And Buffy's all like, I have to, Spike. And Spike's like, no, I love you. And Buffy's all, you're dead inside. I could never be your girl. You can't feel anything. But I think he can feel the 50 or so punches to the face that make his eyes swell shut, even as an undead creature of the night. And Buffy,
that feels very felt.
So Buffy beats the ever-loving fuck out of him. And eventually,
specifically in response to him calling her, "You're my girl."
Oh yeah.
And then she starts beating him about the face and shoulders.
I could never be your girl.
Yeah.
So she eventually gets off of him and goes inside. He feebly tries to stop her one more time, but it's completely impotent. She overhears the girl's name by one of the cops that's on the phone, and she has a flashback to when she met Katrina at Warren's house and suddenly realizes that this must all be Warren's doing. See, the slightest, simplest little link, and she already knows that it's Warren.
Oh, we did also, before she left Spike, we had a little nod here. This will be important a little bit later. Spike says, you always hurt the ones you love.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's trying to be like, oh, you're actually in love with me, even though she is not.
So she fucks off instead of confessing, which, to be clear, even if she had done this accidentally, I don't think there's any good that could come of her turning herself in, unless maybe it relieves her conscience, but I think she'd get over it eventually. You know, it's manslaughter at worst, but that's still like 5 years in prison. Don't abandon your family over this.
Right.
Like, I don't know.
I don't know. I think any defense lawyer worth their salt in fucking Sunnydale would be able to, like, come up with even a tiny bit of evidence showing that she has saved a lot of people's lives.
Or that she was under duress in the moment that the accident supposedly occurred.
One thing that does kind of rub me the wrong way with this episode is the police are responding to this dead body like it's this big, like, high drama thing. When, like, how often do people find dead bodies in fucking Sunnydale?
Like, constantly.
Yeah. Like,
who's finding bodies on the edge of the river at, like, 3 a.m.? Because it's the middle of the fucking night. And they call the cops? I guess.
Maybe.
I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, it's This is all consistent with her character, at
Yes.
least. We can agree
Yes.
on that. So cut back to the magic box.
Anya pulls out a book and points out the demons that Buffy fought. Apparently, they cause localized temporal disturbances.
It's called a Rasundi demon.
Yes. So she explains to the rest of the gang that she's pretty sure it's Warren because it's Warren's ex.
Yep.
Her plan is that she is not going to let them get away with it.
Fuck no.
Cut to the trio getting away with it.
Or at least thinking that they're getting away with it.
I mean, as far as the police are concerned, they're getting away with it.
Oh,
'cause
sure.
The police rule the death as a suicide.
Yeah.
Which,
So,
of course they do. They don't want to do the job.
and
Honestly, the police in Sunnydale are probably like, oh, man, that's definitely a suicide. Sure, it's obvious that their blood was drained from their neck, but that's a suicide.
just a big rash of suicides around these parts. Yeah, Warren is, of course, fine with this. Not just fine with it, but giddy.
And Andrew thinks it's kind of cool that they got away with murder.
Yeah, he almost feels bad about it, but then in his comic book addled little brain, it's like, well, it's actually really cool. No.
And Jonathan is pointedly just playing along.
Yeah, he's in way over his head at this point.
Yeah.
He agrees without agreeing. He's like, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, this episode defines who each of the trio are as people. Andrew's a pathetic follower with no mind of his own. Jonathan needs to get the fuck out. Warren's an evil bitch.
Yep.
Yeah. Cut to Buffy's living room.
Yes, where Tara explains what is going on with Buffy. And that is that nothing is going on with Buffy. She didn't come back wrong. There's nothing wrong with her whatsoever. She's perfectly healthy, perfectly fine. Obviously, you are at fault for all your decisions, Buffy.
Exactly. That's what Tara was saying. She knew what she was saying.
Yeah.
You're a bad person, Buffy. Why didn't she just come out and say it?
No, her hypothesis is that she didn't come back wrong. It's just that she is subatomically out of phase.
Superficially, molecularly, something or other. So it messes with the sensors in Spike's chip.
Yeah.
But no big deal.
But yeah, Buffy's response to, hey, you're fine. Absolutely nothing is wrong with you. You can't blame any of your actions on coming back from the dead. Buffy does not take this well.
You know what's funny is that I was just watching an episode of Dexter where he has a very similar revelation that because he can't blame his dark passenger anymore because Hannah McKay points out to him that it doesn't exist. He's just using it as an excuse that he wants to kill people. And then he's like, wait, but that means that I'm responsible for everything I've done. It's like, wait, you didn't already think that?
Right?
What the fuck,
right?
Dexter? Okay. But it's kind of exactly like that moment.
Yeah.
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 Because that is not the news Buffy wanted, and she is just wrecked.
And Tara, there's this moment where Tara is like frozen, where she's like, you are upset about news that I thought would be good.
Right.
This is not the response that I was expecting from you, Buffy.
Yeah. But Buffy's reasoning is she's like, why would she let Spike do those things to her? And why is that the only time that she ever feels anything? Tara assures her that it's okay if she loves Spike, and it's okay if she doesn't. It's okay if she loves him because Spike's done a lot of good things too, but it's okay if she doesn't because she's going through some shit. And
I think that the thing that Buffy is the most upset about, and I want to preface this with saying that, like, she shouldn't be upset about this. Like, I don't think she has any grounds to need to be upset about this. But I think what she is upset about is that she feels that it is wrong to use Spike. Mm-hmm. And she realizes that she is using Spike.
Yeah.
That being said, he's evil. I think that makes what she's doing not smart, but morally speaking, inconsequential.
Right. Yeah. But she's beaten herself. No, and she thinks that by the transitive property, since she is enjoying something evil, that she must be evil. Or since she's using him, and if she is using him and he's not evil, and he does in fact love her, then that makes her a bad person. Maybe not evil, but at the very least going very harshly against her own moral fiber.
Well, basically what it comes down to from her perspective with her morals, any way she looks at the situation, it's only that she is doing wrong.
Yeah. And even Tara is real time here doing a fairly good job of poking holes in Buffy's logic. She's like,
Tara.
She's like, but there's more nuance to it than that, Buffy. And I'm like, yes, dear God, thank you.
Honestly, I think it would have been great if Tara's response was kind of along the lines of like, look, I'm gay and I'd bang that.
I still see that meme go around. It's not really a meme. It's just a little panel version of the scene with Xander and Buffy, where Xander's like, we'd understand if you're having sex with Spike. He's mysterious, but also compact and well-muscled. And she's like, I'm not having sex with Spike, but I'm starting to think you are.
Yeah.
It's just so fucking funny. But anyway, she breaks down even more, and she's begging Tara to forgive her, or she's begging Tara not to forgive her, and falls into her lap sobbing.
Yeah.
As Tara tries to comfort her, but has no idea how you comfort somebody sobbing in your lap who doesn't want to be forgiven. So, this.
I think Tara's only real response to this should honestly be like reaching over on the table, grabbing a magazine, rolling it up, and just going, bop, bad Buffy, bop, bad Buffy, bad Buffy.
Who's a bad Buffy?
I think that's the only possible actual good response.
All right, so I've got more to say about this, but first, Gurarg.
Is this for me? I must be ready. I need my strength. Give me more! Nights I shall walk in the earth. Hold on. You've got something in your eye.
Ask me how I feel about this episode.
How do you feel about this episode, Josh?
I think it was a pretty good episode. I just want to pick up where we left off. And so this thing where Buffy doesn't want to be forgiven. I've been reading this book called Healing the Shame That Binds You, and this set off some alarms in my head, some sensors that I've recently acquired. That is a huge sign of somebody who is shame-bound, full of toxic shame. When somebody clearly wants to be punished, they do not want to be forgiven. They've internalized that shame so thoroughly.
Well, and it's very obvious that shame is all shame that she has built up in her head at the assumption of how her friends would respond to her fucking Spike.
Yeah. And I don't have any working theories off the top of my head as to how she became shame-bound, other than, the only argument I get for Joyce being a good mother is, boy, she tried really hard.
Right?
And you know what? All I'm hearing when I hear...
She was very judgy.
She was super judgy. All I hear when I hear, oh, but she tried her best, is that her best wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
And she tried her best not to take any responsibility for herself and to shove it all off onto Buffy. And that would be probably my first culprit to look at for why Buffy is full of toxic shame.
So I cannot decide how I feel about this episode because, like, on one hand, I like what they did with Buffy's morality through this because, like, nothing felt out of place with how she responded to any of this.
It was consistent, definitely.
Super consistent to her character. It's the kind of thing where it's like, no, that's exactly how I would expect her to respond. Mm-hmm. And there weren't any of those weird, like, come on, why wouldn't you tell somebody that sort of moments? You know what I mean? where it's like, oh, they're not telling another character something solely because that's the only way to have the plot moving, you know, that kind of thing. Where like one of those instances in previous episodes where like Buffy doesn't tell somebody where she was going or something.
You're saying we didn't get a lot of that. We didn't
have any of that. There's no plot contrivances whatsoever in this episode, which thank God.
This episode flowed.
This episode was by far one of the cleanest written that we've had in a while.
Absolutely.
But last night, my spouse and I are watching Criminal Minds.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've ever watched Criminal Minds.
I feel like I've seen a couple episodes, but whatever.
But if you don't know Criminal Minds, it's about the behavioral analysis unit in the FBI. They profile serial killers and whatnot.
Okay.
Last night's episode that we watched was specifically about a trio of men who go out, kidnap women, have them as sex slaves.
Weird.
And they keep them as sex slaves, and then it turns out that the leader of the group is killing the women and disposing of them, and the other two don't realize it.
Fucking hell.
And specifically, one of the reasons why we've been really enjoying this show is that a lot of the psychology that they depict in the show is very accurate and good. And the psychological dynamics of the three characters in that show are impressively displayed in this episode with the trio.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, how the leader, Warren, and then you have Warren, the leader, then you have Andrew, the sycophant lieutenant,
mm-hmm.
and then you have the weakest link, Jonathan.
Mm-hmm. That's weird, because I always thought of Andrew as the weakest link, just because he's dumber than Jonathan.
But in this dynamic, the weakest link is the one who doesn't comply.
Right.
And Andrew is incapable of, you know, holding himself to whatever moral grounding he should have.
Yeah.
And he wants to be cool, and he thinks Warren is cool. And that's really what it comes down to. So the dynamic that played out with the group in that episode is already starting to show and play out here. And I don't want to talk about future episodes, but from what I remember of this season, it's going to play out exactly the same way as that group did in that episode. And I find that absolutely fascinating.
So there's a dark witch.
Well, no.
Well, that's a point in favor to what I was trying to talk about earlier with, was this a good choice of a direction for them to go in for a villain, for a big bad for this season? Is it progressive versus is it entertaining?
I think overall, bad choice.
Mm-hmm.
I think the trio has been a bad choice. I don't think the buildup of the trio or anything is remotely good, because it's just fucking campy, stupid, and childish.
Yeah, just because one writer came in and made one episode psychologically accurate, doesn't make their arc
exactly,
or their
and that's where I feel a little bothered with this episode, is because it's like, don't make these fuckers good villains. How dare you? Don't do that. They don't deserve that.
They don't. No, but this episode kind of tried to push it in that direction.
And I don't remember quite enough of the rest of the season, so maybe that's the direction it continues going, and it stays that good, and we start getting away from the fucking campy bullshit. All I know at this point is I am just fucking tired of hearing their goddamn bickering.
Oh yeah,
so done with it.
Like, at least Glory was fun. Adam was fun. The woman that made Adam was fun.
Maggie.
Yeah, she believed in something. Adam believed in something. They had this serene Terminator kind of thing going on about them. The Master, he was
brief but fun.
He was classic.
Yeah. And then, for fuck's sake, season 2,
Angel, the mayor, Spike, they're all so fucking fun, and then we get these assholes.
Yeah. It's a backslide.
It is.
They're cartoonish, and I'm so, like, I don't like that I liked them in this episode. Like, I didn't like them as characters. But, like, I liked that they're actually being fucking bad guys, and they're actually, like...
That they fit they fit the role of villains, and they're not stupid cartoon pathetic.
I'm hating them because they're characters to hate, not because they're fucking stupid.
Right.
They're fucking stupid all the time, and I want to hate them because they're fucking stupid.
But you hate them because they're villains and not because they're fucking stupid.
Exactly.
You want to keep hating them because they're fucking stupid, because overall they are fucking stupid.
Exactly.
Cool.
Awesome. Thank you for helping me put that together.
Glad we got that figured out. Wow. What's your quote of the day, Rex?
I would like to first give an honorable mention to you with between under a rug and a heart. Wait, how'd it go? Fuck.
Between a rug and a hard cock.
There's the honorable mention. Because, like, that joke is sticking with me way better.
You know, I'll take it. I will take that.
And I don't actually have, like, this is the quote, but I liked the just very subtle sexual innuendos that are, like, peppered throughout the fucking episode, where it's, like, it's only a sexual innuendo because... Buffy has a dirty fucking mind.
Right? Yeah.
And I just thought that was absolutely hilarious to me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my quote of the day. If we really need to put some words to it, I'm going to say that Xander's line talking about Buffy going out and pounding evil.
Okay. Yes, I didn't get too many actual prospects for quote of the day here. But I really enjoyed the moment where Buffy walks in and says, "I'm home. Who wants to help scrape the grease off my..."
Yeah.
And I just really want to know what.
Right?
So
I do want to mention this. This is not meant like as a quote of the day, but I just want to mention that I really fucking love that they had Katrina yell at these fucking dumbasses. It's not a fantasy, not a game. It's rape. It, like, no fucking beating around the bush, no coyness with what's going on. No, this is fucking rape. It's wrong and disgusting, and fuck you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, I was so expecting them to be beating around the bush about this shit.
Right.
And they didn't, and I was...
Or to do this thing where they have bad communication.
Yeah.
That the show always fucking does. Well, not always, obviously.
But no, I was very grateful that they didn't play coy with the fact that they were going to rape her.
Yeah, this is a touchy episode, and while it still was pretty harsh, I think they handled it as best they could, given the chosen topic.
Well, and they handled it the way it should be handled, as in you rip the bandage off.
Mm-hmm.
You don't fucking play coy with it. You say what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just wanted to mention that because like that stuck with me, and before they got to that point in the show, I was so worried that they were gonna fucking beat around the bush with
Absolutely.
it.
That was a tipping point in the episode for me too. I was like, oh, thank fuck.
Yeah.
So I did not know how I was gonna approach it until that moment.
Yeah. So this has been another episode of Beer with Buffy. Don't forget to like us on Facebook, join our Facebook group. It's still there for now, pending ideas.
I intend to completely delete all of my Twitter accounts very soon.
Yeah. You can follow us on Blue Sky. We're not well practiced at actually using Blue Sky just yet with the Beer with Buffy account, but we're working on it.
Yeah.
And the more people we get following us on there, the more that will push us to want to use that.
Sure.
If you'd like to support our show, you can do that in a number of ways. The number one way you can do that is by giving us an iTunes review. Specifically, written reviews do more than just giving us stars, and we will send you a coupon for a free sticker.
Fuck yeah.
If you'd like to just buy said sticker and not give us a review, which, I guess if you want to do that, you can. Just go to beerwithbuffy.com/shop or products or
something like that.
Beerwithbuffy.com. It goes directly to the shop.
It's there. You'll see it.
If you'd like to just give us your money without actually getting anything in return except your name read every episode, you can do that by going to patreon.com/beerwithbuffy and, just give us your money. You like giving us money, right?
That's what I heard.
If you'd like to get in contact with us, you can do so by email, beerwithbuffy@gmail.com, or voicemail
269-743-0783.
You can also text that number. This has been another episode of Beer with Buffy. I'm Rex.
I'm Josh.
Have a good night.
Keanu Speed Rex.
Dreams be with you.
You are the slayer. Lives depend upon you.
Damn right.
I make allowances for your years, but I expect a certain amount of responsibility, and instead of which you enslave yourself to this cult.
You don't like the color?
You have a sacred birthright. You were chosen to destroy vampires, not to wave pom-poms at people.
Why can't you people just leave me alone?
You are the slayer.
Go ahead. Prepare me.
I'm a watcher. I haven't the skill.
Oh, come on.
By appealing to your common sense. Werewolves, incubi, succubi, everything you've ever dreaded was under your bed, but told yourself couldn't be by the light of day. One gal in all the world. Common sense. One gal in all the world. It was a bit, British, wasn't it?
Whee! Wait, what have we done? Why are we watching this?